Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Trash Talk with Bobby and Shyne. That's Bobby. I'm Shyne. And today, what we got going on today, Bobby?
Man, we got Coming to
Coming
America.
to America. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
man, dog. So we're going to keep it real in our segment, Keeping It Real. We're going to keep it real. We're going to give what you call it, something. We're going to give something. We're going to give our outlook on the
Honest
movie Coming to America.
outlook and opinion on Coming to America. We're going to compare it a little bit with the first one. We're going to talk about the second one as a standalone movie. And we're going to ask you, the audience, did you like it? Was it something that you wanted to see? And then when you saw it, did you go, "Ha, that's great," or did you go, "Man"?
So comment in the comment section now. Comment in the comment section what you would rate this movie 1 out of 5. We give it trash cans. We go from the 5 being trash to 1 being a good movie that I'll watch again. So rate it in the comment section. Give us your opinion about the movie itself, and then we gonna talk about it too, man. But let's get into this, man. I have something to say about Coming to America. I know you, Shine, did not watch the first one when it came out 30 years
No, no,
ago.
no, 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 no,
So
no. I did. I watched it, but you gotta understand. You okay? So when it came out first, I was 4. You was like 15, and
I was 6.
but you was like an older 6.
Yeah,
You was
whatever.
like an older 6. But by the time we actually watched it, I was still young. So I remember some of the parts of it, but I didn't remember as a whole. Like some of the plot as it was happening, I went, "Oh yeah, I seen this." When the royal penis is clean, I was like, "Ha ha, I remember that." You know, but as far as like seeing it, actually watching it was what this week,
True, true,
and
true.
then I
Hey
watched
man,
Coming to America right
I,
after
I
that.
like I like how they put the two in the middle and made it Coming to America, so it's like the same name but a different movie. For the most part, my overall outtake of the movie itself is the first thing I got to say about the movie is you cannot compare it to the first one. This is 2021. That movie was made in 1990 something. So back then there was a different outlook of what movies were supposed to be. So when you're looking at a movie in 1990s, the kind of movie you're looking at is it was just a different time, it was different places, different views, different
What?
opinions, different mindsets. So now it's a more of a censorship mindset. So the movie itself is not as funny to some as it is to others. So that's one thing I want to say about this movie. For the most part, man, I thought this movie was well put together.
Yeah, but I don't
It was
know.
well put together. It was well put together movie. For me, it was well put together, and they had some jokes in there that was just like ha ha ha
I
ha.
I don't know. I wouldn't say. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about the movie first and foremost. But
Keep it real.
but to me, so there's humor, right?
Yeah,
And the humor that they had back then in the 90s, right? When
yeah,
I watched that movie last week, it was still funny, though, was the thing. Like, I
yeah.
get some of the overtones were a little bit outdated, but it was still funny. It's like they tried to recreate comedy
Same. Yeah,
from that movie
yeah.
while also integrating comedy from like this time and then put them together. It just didn't work. It was like a very high functioning Medea movie with the over the top theatrics that they sometimes had.
True, true. I wrote that down because this is the only movie that I wrote notes down in. So when I look to the
Taking
left,
notes.
my left, your right, looking at my notes here on the movie because I wanted to make sure I gave a good outlook of the movie itself. Now, I'm gonna tell everybody right now, if you ain't seen the movie, stop watching now because we finna give up some stuff that's in the
Spoiler
movie.
alert.
But if you've seen the first movie, you've pretty much seen the second movie.
It is.
So
It is. And
it's
so
pretty much the same
it's
movie.
the same movie. And so, but what killed me was they tried to recreate all the funny parts of the first movie They were like, "Oh, it was really funny then, and everybody's been quoting it this long, so why don't we just do it again?" And then they only had a few moments of like new comedy. Hey,
True.
when what's his name, Jaffe, bruh, when Jaffe attended his own funeral. Oh, they had me rolling.
Yo,
He's sitting there coughing like
he's smiling and
he
everything,
like,
man. He's
oh man,
smiling and
they brought
everything, man.
Gladys. Okay, what's up? I'm gonna die now. I'm like, yo. It'd have been better if he'd have fell
Yo,
out the coffin, man. It really would.
dude, there were so many moments in this movie that they could have over dramatized the movie itself,
Word.
and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into some of these scenes that they did that we could have elevated a little bit more for the funny. I think it would have brought more a ha 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 than a huh
Huh.
out of this
That's
movie.
exactly what it was. I got a couple huh. and
Ha.
and the casting wasn't that great.
Nah, man, nah. The casting was not that great. I like the fact that they brought everyone back, or most of the people back from the first movie, but his son, I didn't feel his acting skills in this movie.
Who you
I'm not
talking
saying
about?
he's a bad.
Lucius Lyon's son? Is that who it was? You talking about Akeem? It was
Yeah,
Akeem
yeah. I'm
was the
talking about
daddy,
Key. Yeah,
and Akeem
yeah,
Lyon was the son.
yeah.
That was
Exactly.
fake Lucius Lyon's son. Is who that was, man. When they gave that dude the mic to start rapping, I went, bruh. When
Yo,
I
that was.
start watching Empire, when did I start watching Empire? That's what I was wondering the whole
Dude,
time.
I don't know, man. And then you see Lil Wayne in the movie too,
I
man.
didn't see. Wait, Lil Wayne was in the
Yeah,
movie.
Lil Wayne was in the movie, man. He was the old dude with the dreads, man, telling
Where
Eddie
at?
about his son. He had a little hunchback. He
You
was in there when his daddy was dying.
that
Lil Wayne in there, man. He was doing too much. He got too much drink in the system, man.
got
That's what Lil Wayne
too
look
much
like
of
right
that
now, man.
purple.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
Look, they
what?
put a couple more dreads in his head though, cause right now he ain't got but three. But Lil Wayne was in the movie, man. He did a good job though. I think Lil Wayne did a good job in this movie though, for
What
real,
was
seriously.
that? Arsenio Hall?
Yeah, it was Arsenio
That
Hall,
was
but man, I'm
Arsenio
just telling
Hall.
you. Look, I think though it was Arsenio Hall, but I think Lil Wayne would have played a better part if they would have got him in the movie. He looked just like him.
And but look, we wouldn't have been able to understand what he was saying because it was
That'd have been even better.
Weezy. You know, that's all we'd have heard. But look, no, back to the movie, because I
Hey,
got notes too.
we would have heard baby.
Yeah, yeah. Wheezy F. What did he say you had? Baby. Oh, I
Baby.
got a baby in America. So look, the funny parts. Back to spoiler alert. I feel
Spoiler
like
alert. Spoiler alert.
I feel like Wesley Snipes. I feel like Wesley Snipes showed up at the set and was like, "Hey, all right, I'm here. You know, everything's cool. What do y'all need me to do?" They said, "Wesley, all we need you to do is just act up. You could get your lines in every now and again, but I just need you to act up." He said, "Ooh, I could do that."
Dog, every time Wesley came in the building, he had a new
He
dance
had a
too.
new dance. And then he was
the funny
go ahead.
the funniest thing about Wesley though is that when you go back to his camp or his lair per se, because he's a bad dude in this movie, everything you see fighting, you see people hitting each other, you see little kids learning how to blow things up, and then all of a sudden you see Dance Revolution because you know you gotta get them
Gotta
steps
get
on
them
point.
steps in, gotta get them
Everybody
on
gotta
point.
be on point.
But so Wesley was a great part of the movie. Tracy Morgan wasn't that funny in this movie.
No, Tracy Morgan was a disappointment. It was a disappointment in this movie.
And
I didn't like it.
he usually comes better than
He,
that.
Tracy plays the same character in every movie,
Yeah,
pretty
but he
much.
played a bad version of this character.
That it sucked too. It sucked for this movie to Tracy play that character and it not be portrayed in a very good way. Personally, to me, I did not feel his character. And also with this movie, spoiler alert, I don't feel like in the middle of the movie the relationship between him and Arsenio developed. All of a sudden, they were hating each other, trying to kick each other's ass per se. And then all of a sudden, at the end, you see
They just
now we're gonna
friends.
take a drink together. It's
Yeah.
like they never like there was no common ground to get to the point where they're taking a drink.
Yeah.
So there was no aha moment, which really sucked it up for me in this movie because it's like I would like to see an aha moment. The same thing happened with um, Eddie's baby mama and his wife.
Yeah.
At one time, they hate each other,
And then
and
2 seconds later.
and then 2 seconds later they drinking, singing Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Through the hump the dump. I'm talking to my baby. But look, no, and so let's get to a intellectual side of this movie. Uh, I feel like there was no character arc or develop. They didn't develop any characters. Correct. The little girl, I feel like she would be a great character if they would have developed her in the movie, because
True.
it seemed like they wanted her to be kind of remember the little girl in Blackish,
Yes. Yes.
kind of her smartness, but still she got the little girl in Kick Ass, kind of sorta.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted to be a mix between that, but they just like, oh no, here's his daughter. It'll just go. They developed the older girl,
Yeah. They
but
did. Yeah. They did.
the middle child, my what didn't exist.
Yeah. She got no play.
My
She
what
got no play.
my what
Middle
didn't
child got
exist.
no play.
And then
The older sibling, she was just disgruntled asshole.
and then and then your boy playing who is it? Lucius Lyon's son, Akeem. What is his name in the movie?
I don't know.
The bastard
That's
son.
how.
I would
That,
like to I would like to introduce you to your bastard brother. And I would like to introduce you to your
to your
bastard
bastard
brother.
brother.
And I would like to
Yo,
all right, man, I feel like we get it. All right, we get it, man. We get it.
yo, they called him the bastard son and the bastard brother for at least
30
an
minutes.
hour into the middle.
We 30, 40 minutes, man. Introduce you to your bastard. All right, all right.
There's your
They get
bastard
it.
son right there. You know what I'm saying?
But
Hey
look,
man,
what
before we get any further in this Coming to America, man, I just want to say in the comment section, I see you. I see you, cuz. What's up, CJ? We see you in the comment section. We ain't bypassing. We see you.
let us know what you thought of the movie.
If you seen it, if you ain't seen it, you might as well just head on out. Come watch this later.
Yeah. If you ain't seen it and you heard that, look, spoiler alert, my bad. We said it in the
Hey,
beginning.
one thing we didn't mention about the dad before he died and had his own funeral. Hey man, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, before I get into that comment that I was gonna make, look, that might be in the most lit, and I say that because I'm not hip with the new lingo as they are not in this movie too, because it was on fleek. Uh, I think the funeral was lit. I was debating on myself having a funeral just like that. Just saying, but I ain't
Man,
got that much money.
if I could time out when I am gonna die,
Man,
I
he
would.
timed it out perfect, man. Gladys was singing, and all of a sudden, boom,
He
boom,
said,
he's
"Hey,
gone.
bro, I'm gonna die now." Look, and so, but from
No, no,
there,
no. Let me get one more thing for that. Look, his dad called Eddie a bitch. He said, "I spoiled you. You are a bitch. You ain't nothing like me." But go ahead with the
he said,
comment.
but he said, what was it? They were gonna attack because they were moving from a strong king to a weak king, and Eddie like,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa. What you mean, weak king? They just kept playing Eddie in his face the whole time, man. The what was the other part where they was playing him in his face? Oh no, that wasn't playing his face. It was just funny. She was like, "Oh yeah, you're not the first person that I was with either." And he's
oh,
like,
he was
"Whoa,
like,
whoa,
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 whoa.
what you mean?"
What you mean I was the first one? You been quick.
And then
Yo,
the whole premise of this was just a deleted scene from
yes,
the first movie, right?
yeah,
The whole premise was just a
yeah.
deleted scene from the first movie.
Yo, that's the only thing I liked about the movie itself, though. They went back,
Yeah,
got a deleted scene from the movie, and made another movie around that deleted scene. So,
it got
it,
deleted for a reason.
exactly. But I feel like this movie was in the making a lot earlier, but it never happened because of that deleted scene.
Okay.
So I feel like if they would have made this movie 10 years or 5 years after the first one, it would have been a lot better.
The jokes would have went. So like, let's go to complete. So they did the first the barbershop scene here in the first movie, right? So
Yeah.
in the first movie, it was funny. And during
Yeah.
that time, they kept up with the time Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, what's his name? Clay. His mama called him Clay, so I'm gonna call him Clay.
Call of Clay.
You know,
Yeah.
so everything about that, like it even aged well. It was funny. It was that barbershop banter. Everything they tried to reproduce it with this one, and they did the thing where they go over the top trying to keep up with the times or like how
True.
you should talk or
True.
this that and other. Like I hate when movies do that. Like I get it. Like you want to have your equality. You want to have this, that, and the other. But going over the top to show it is a bit annoying. Just show it, you know. Just
Yeah.
be in the
True.
movie just with the banter. Like it would have been a funnier scene if they would have did it that way. And like my man would just been sitting in the corner. Every time he said something, he was like, "Yo, you can't say that." He's like, "I can't. No." And then he just said something. "You can't say that either. I can't. No." And he just went on and on and on. And he's like, "Well, what the hell can I say then?" Nothing. If he'd have said it like that, then it would have.
That'd have been
You see
hilarious,
how
man.
funny that would have been?
That would have been hilarious because he didn't even have to really say a full sentence, but you would think he
Yeah,
would say something just inappropriate.
yeah. And I'll tell you another thing about them. You can't say that. What? That would have been funny, but this.
That would have been
And
hilarious.
so they ruined the whole barbershop scene with like when he came in, it was like, "Oh, it's Kuta." I was like, "Okay, it's about to get," and then they just completely, I know they tried to do the boxing reference and stuff, and I was like, "All right, whatever." But I mean, they tried. Like CJ said in the comments, he said it was okay. It was okay. Very star studded. Did the original no justice?
It did. It didn't do the original justice, and the movie felt like it went backwards. So everything was forward at first, and then he went and got his son, and then it went backwards. So the son got the haircut that his dad had when he came to America, because he had the rat tail.
Yeah.
And then his son woke up and went outside, just like Eddie did in the first one, or Hakeem did in the first one, and then he yelled out towards everybody and yelled good morning or something he said.
Yeah.
The funniest part in that movie would make the movie even better at that point in time if somebody from the native land would have yelled back, "Shut the fuck up."
Hey, that would have been good. That would have been good. He'd be like, "Shut the fuck up." That would have been good. That would have been good. So it's like they missed a lot of
Yeah.
opportunities. And then the funny that they brought in was like that Medea kind of funny, like old buddy's mom and old buddy's and him when they got to the palace. They was trying to act up like they know, like what I mean, like, oh, this the people, they come from here, they don't know what to do when they get in the presence. But the way they did it was like over the top, not really funny. We've seen it 100 times. It's like, okay,
There
get
was
it.
a couple funny parts in there though. Before that, whenever it's his birthday, right? So they go on the day on his birthday. Did you get the reference to the movie Trading Places when he's sitting in there? So he's trying to get a job, white guy. His dad was the guy in the Trading Places who was a rich guy.
Oh.
That's why he made the comment that he was
Oh.
spoon fed the job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It referenced that movie, and you looked at the picture, and you saw the guy. It was like a split second.
Haha.
All right, you didn't see that part, so it referenced that second movie too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they did that. It still was stupid though. It wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be. But I see the reference.
That whole scene it wasn't really funny
either.
It
didn't match. It didn't match.
Like
it didn't match.
I felt like I feel what they were trying to get across in the scene, but it didn't really work.
No. And then the funniest part before we go on about the ratchetness that happened in is that before Hakeem's son came home, they were finna celebrate his birthday, right? So this is the funniest moment of Tracy Morgan. He bought 10 candles.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, cut them in half."
And she said,
Somebody,
"Hey,
well, that would make
that
20.
only make 20." So that was good. That was good.
That
But
was a good
so
back and forth banter.
if they had that humor in a lot of it, it would
Yeah,
have gotten across
it'd been a
like
lot, but yeah,
maybe that like sarcastic. It was a little bit dryish, but like it was like, bruh, that don't make but 20. That humor would have translated well.
yeah,
They were trying to do too much. They tried to put
yeah.
two different genres of humor together, and it just didn't work. So all in all, you know, I don't even know how to rate it because I didn't hate it. Would I ever watch it again?
I did.
Probably not.
I probably watch it one more time because I think there were some things that I missed in there that went back to the first movie. So I think I may watch it one more time, but I'm not watching it anytime soon. It probably one of those things where if it comes on HBO or something, and I'm sitting in the chair and I ain't got nothing to do for the rest of the day, I'll watch the movie again. Maybe there's some scenes that I didn't get or I missed that were funny. But to go back to what you just said just a few minutes ago or just a few seconds ago, if they would have hit you with that dry, it makes you come back to the movie and say, "Oh, I must have missed
I must
something."
have
And
missed
then when
something.
you miss something, you may find something else funnier in the movie because you didn't get it at that time because you were laughing at something else.
Yeah.
But this wasn't that type of movie, though. This was not that type of movie. For a couple things before we get into the comment section. Look, there was some scenes in this movie that could have been funnier, and I want you to tell me a scene that you feel like could have been funnier if they would have added this. And I got my scene, and you get yours. Now, if you want me to go first, let me know. But if you got it already, go ahead and give it to the people.
I you gotta go first because I'm gonna have to think
I
about
got
it.
you. I got you. So look. So when they out in the fields and the elephant walks by,
Yeah.
and they're in the path, and Hakeem's son is like, "Oh, it's elephant. He about to get out the way." And Hakeem's like, "Oh, it's my childhood friend." And he said, "Let him pass." And if he would have passed, right, and you said this in pre talks about the show or whatever, if he would have passed, and Hakeem would have pet him or pat him on his butt, and and he would have just kept walking, and then Hakeem's son patted him, and he would just let one rip,
Right in
and
his
when
face. Right in his face.
you, that would have been
That
hilarious.
would
That
have
would have been hilarious.
that
I
would have
don't
been
know
good.
you. That would have been good.
That would have been good. The It's a lot of things that they could have done better per se. You know, like what was there was a lot of things that they messed up. I don't know what they could have done better. I might think of something in a minute, but I do got another thing where they tried to fix the problems of the movie before. Just we acknowledge that this guy was this guy, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Like when she went
Yeah.
to go get married, and they were at
Yeah.
the Church of Jubilation, and he was like, "I'm sorry, this isn't everything you dreamed it was." And she was like, "I've always dreamed about getting married here with a sexist pastor or something." And I'm just sitting there like, "Yo, 30 years ago, you was 2 years old in Zamunda. Like, what you mean? How do you even know that this dude is I don't know. The royal penis is clean." Ash, that was hilarious. They should have just left that alone. They shouldn't have tried to put that in the second movie. They shouldn't have.
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. They should. Overall, the movie itself was straight. I mean, I watched it and I didn't because there were some reviews out there that were like, "This movie's bad. This movie is not as good as the first one." But you can't compare this movie to the first one because it's a sequel, and usually sequels are not as good as the first movie at
I
all.
want to put
There's only
everybody
one.
on the spot. Oh,
That's
you
only
never
one
mind.
sequel.
There you go.
There's only one sequel that I feel like that was better, if not just as good as the first
And
one.
before you
That
tell
comes to
us,
mind right now.
what does everybody else have one? What movie? Now, I don't know where your sequel comes from, but it's got to be a movie in like the late '80s, early '90s. All us '90s babies, '80s
Yeah,
babies when we grew up.
yeah, yeah.
What movie had a sequel that came out years and years down the road that was better than the original? I don't know if there is one. Apparently, you got
There
one,
is
so let
one.
me know.
I got one. I got one. Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, but was that how far? Wow, that was
Bad
a
Boys 2 was just as good, if not better, than Bad Boys the first.
yeah.
Bad Boys 2 was two movies in one.
It was.
They did so good in that movie, they did it twice.
They that movie was so good that they were like, this movie was too good. We got to ruin it with a third one.
Bad Boys 3 was ruined. It
But
was horrible.
I would equate Coming to America to being a better than Bad Boys 3 as a
Yeah.
sequel. I would equate that to being better.
Now the other one though, sequel, and I think they do this very well, and I think they do this better than anyone else. But it's kind of off a play off a movie to another movie to another movie, and they just go back in time and they do other movies justice. Is Marvel. Marvel does great movies that correspond with each other. You can't really call them sequels per se,
Yeah.
but they are, and they make sense, and you got to watch them in order. But I think Marvel does a great job at that too.
They do a good job of tying everything together. If they'd have developed more, if they'd have developed characters in a different way, like if we'd have seen like the barber guy, if they would like developed him,
Yeah,
gave him a bit of a
yeah,
backstory
yeah.
or something like that. Like I didn't. It's not like I needed the movie to be longer, but there were so many parts in it that I didn't need. Like the first movie, I could have lived without that the dance scene on the introductions where they like 5 minutes long.
Come on,
I
man.
could
Come
live
on,
without
man. That's
those.
what makes the movie, though.
I could live without those.
The dramatics makes it,
Bruh, they had to cut to them watching it for like 30 seconds of the performance. I could have did without that. So here I could have
and it
did
makes the
without
movie.
it too. And then I get referencing the old movies, but going back and just repeating the old movie was kind of stupid. Like whenever
I
he
got
met old girl and he was like, "But what do you like? But what's your favorite movie? Whatever you like." You know, kind of sort of the same thing. I'm like, what are you gonna ask her to do? Bark like a dog? Oh no, he wants her to stand here and be still. Now it'd have been funny.
listen, hey,
It would
it'd
have
have been
been
funny
funny
if
if
you bought
she
like, oh,
no, not bark like a dog. If he told her to stand here and it goes to like the next scene and it's the next day and she's still standing there tired as
yeah,
hell
man. I thought it was gonna have that though
when she was
when
barking.
they had no when they had the fight scene at the end and Arsenio Hall and the three daughters beat the hell out of Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought she was gonna be standing there in the same spot.
just standing
That'd
there
have been
saying that
hilarious
would have been
too.
hilarious.
That'd have been
You
hilarious
told
if
me
all of a
old
sudden
girl
Wesley
barked for
looked.
30 years.
Yeah.
She hopped on one foot and barked for 30 years. Nah, I'm good, man.
Hey, Wesley did thank him at the end of the movie and say, "Hey, I'm glad you lifted that spell
Lift
off
that,
my."
lifted that command so she ain't got to do that no more. But all
now,
in all,
a couple things before we end this part of the show right here. Hey, they did reference in this movie that sequel joke when it was in. I think it was when they were getting married. His son and the old girl was getting married. They did reference a sequel joke, and then they was like, "Why ruin it by making a sequel?" So they knew the movie wasn't going to live up
oh
to the
yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
They knew that movie wasn't going to live up to the first one. And then also, man, when they brought out sexual chocolate at the end, though,
Who Randy? What's his name? Randy Watson.
Randy Watson. Hey, they were saying, "Hey, we gonna bring somebody from all the way from Queens." They were like, "Who is it?
She
Who
was so
is it?
excited, and
Who is it?
everybody's dancing. She's like,
Randy Watts." Who the hell
she
is
like, bro,
Randy
what
Watts?
is happening?
Sexual chocolate. That's my man, dog. Sexual chocolate is my guy. That's my guy, man. That's my guy. But overall, man, great this movie right here, man. 1 to 5, 5 being the trashiest of the trash. One bringing you to watch this movie again. Rate this movie 1 to 5 trash
I'm gonna give it
cans.
3 trash cans. A good in betweener. A good in betweener. Like it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Would I watch it again if I ain't had nothing to do? Maybe. Would I go out of my way to find it? No.
No,
How
no.
about you? How many you got?
I give it 3. I give it 3 trash cans as well,
Okay.
man. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch this movie again. I feel like there was some funny moments in this movie. It was not a bad movie, man.
It
It
was.
was not
It
a
wasn't.
horrible movie.
It
A lot
wasn't
of people were telling
bad.
me it was a horrible movie, man. A lot of people and it was the same people that looked just like me, man. They was saying this movie was horrible, man. Don't go watch this movie. And I was just like, man, I gotta watch it now because you tell me not to watch it. So
I saw.
this movie is not horrible.
Did you see the meme on Facebook where they were saying like we always tearing down
Yeah,
our
I see.
movies and we should be
Yeah, I see.
building. I like look. Hey, if it suck, it suck.
Hey, man, you gotta call a spade a spade. Call a spade a spade. Got to.
If
Gotta call a spade a
it
spade.
suck, it suck. You know. But
This movie didn't suck though.
but
This
it
movie
wasn't
didn't suck.
good.
No, it
But it
wasn't good at
wasn't
all.
good.
Let's get into the conversation real quick. While we still here, Steve said nothing beats the clumps. Hey, the clumps was funny, man. It was still. It was kind of. Here's the thing though about that comedy, right? That comedy worked then. I don't know if that comedy works now, and I feel like that's what this movie was trying to do too. And I don't feel like it worked as well as it would have worked if it was made 5 years from the first one or 10 years from the first one.
It's lazy
You know what I'm
writing.
saying?
That's what it was. Lazy
Yeah,
writing.
yeah. And then also in the comment section, Jason said, I love the constant throwbacks to the original. It was a little more clean comedy and somewhat lacking from the 80s humor, but still had me laughing my butt off throughout. Hey, I can see why some people would laugh at the jokes that was in here. I just feel like if you're gonna be dramatic, be over dramatic and continue on with the dramatization. And there's some scenes in there that could have been dramatized a little bit more than what it was to make me laugh a lot more than what I did. Get me from the huh to the ha ha. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of them when I was just like,
Yeah.
but
I was
and then
I wasn't crying laughing.
and what was last thing before we get out of here? Because I get the part with the 80s humor, you know, kind of
Yeah.
sorta. But what was funny about that is that movie. I don't want to say was ahead of its time because there's always been that fight being happened, but the whole premise of the movie was like Prince Akeem didn't want that to happen. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sexualizing women, all this, that, and other. He wanted, to find an equal. And so back then, everybody else was like, nah, homie, this is how it is. And he's like, nah, man, So it was a little bit ahead of his time. They could have just kept going with that kind of
Yeah.
sort of. They're like,
Yeah.
we needed to fix this because this was, no, you pointed it out in the damn 90s that it was a problem. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need to fix it. I don't know. But we got 3 stars, trash
Three
can,
trash cans.
3 trash cans for the movie. You got anything else about it before we get out of here?
Man, I just gotta say one thing, man. Hey, we kept it real. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I ain't gonna lie to you.